Welcome to Subramani. I'm on a nice vacation in Bandhavgarh, and I got a call from a portfolio manager and mutual fund distributor called R. Subhash from Chennai, and he said, "Look, this KYC thing is getting a little serious. You should do a video on this." I had no intentions. I was nicely far away looking for tigers. So I asked him to describe what had really happened. So he said, look, we all know what is KYC and how all of us have got our KYC done with 50 odd documents which had a bank statement or a telephone bill, etc. as address proof, and that is how we all did our KYC. But now from the 1st of April, they have made a change that you have to have your KYC done only with masked Aadhaar. I only hope that those who have done with unmasked Aadhaar also don't get rejected saying, oh, you have to redo your KYC. Now, the problem with this, so first of all, to do your KYC, for people who do not know, it is know your customer. Know your customer from the mutual fund or the SEBI point of view was a document which a person had to fill up, and all it required was one photograph, one PAN card, and an address proof, which had a lot of things. I think about 15 odd documents, maybe at least a dozen for sure. And people would get their KYC done, and then that's it. After that, they could open a demat account, they could open PMS, they could invest in mutual funds, etc. You did not have to do it again and again, and you did not have to do it for each mutual fund. So one mutual fund would do your KYC, and that would get updated in the records, and then you could open a new account with any mutual fund that you wanted. So 40 mutual funds, you didn't have to do 40 KYCs, you had to do only one. It was all going well, but suddenly from 1st April 2024, with retrospective effect, they decided that only those KYCs which have been done with Aadhaar will be held to be valid. When I'm saying valid, I'm not being very correct. I'm saying you can do transactions only if your KYC was done with Aadhaar and not with other documents. Now this is fine. Prospectively, if you do this, you say, okay, we have reduced the number of documents to only 6, which includes of course the Aadhaar card, passport, driving license, only the government issued documents, and not bank or a telephone company issued documents. That would have been fine. Now what has happened is, I'll read from what Subhash has written. KRA agencies have changed the rules and have now to accept just 6 documents: Aadhaar, passport, driving license, voter ID, Manrega job card, and a letter issued on by the National Population Register. So the last 2 may not be very relevant for this audience at least. In addition to this reduction, the total number of address proofs, KRA agencies have complicated the KYC status by bringing in a concept called validation of KYCs. Earlier, when you gave this, your KYC got registered and you started doing transaction. Now there is something called validation of KYC. In addition to the KYC registration, an investor has to validate his KYC. Validation is done by only if the investor provides masked Aadhaar and validates his email and mobile numbers as well. So a message will come to you on your mobile, a message will come to you on your email, maybe they give you an OTP which you have to validate. If an investor's KYC is just registered and not validated, the investor has to repeat the KYC process every time he does a new transaction, opens a new folio in any mutual fund, etc. And for more importantly, his money is frozen, he won't be able to withdraw it. So for doing KYC once before earlier he was doing KYC once, now he has to do KYC for every transaction. And remember, this is with retrospective effect, and a person with 10 crores in his mutual fund wanting 15 lakhs for his mother's operation cannot touch it unless he redoes his KYC. This is ridiculous. My money can't get stuck because of some whims and fancies of some babu somewhere. It's time that people were told that this is my money, it is lying there, I've done a KYC which was valid at the time that I did it, I'm not going to run away. It's not that I'm borrowing money, right? I'm putting in my money. What more do you want? I've given you my PAN, I've given you my passport, I've given you my photo, I've given you my bank account. That bank account is valid. I've done transactions for the last 10 years. Now suddenly you can't say my money is frozen. That is creating panic in people. So when you get the figures around 10th of May for the SIP amount done, you will see a dramatic fall. So don't get scared by the fall. The fall is just some bureaucratic reason why it has fallen, not because the people have lost momentum, or people are saying, oh my god, there is a problem in the market or things like that. No, it is just an administrative, I would call administrative lapse. So in case an existing investor, this is interesting, in case an existing investor who has done his KYC 10 years ago with the address proof deemed to be valid at that stage, and not one of these 6 which he has now been made as valid, and his email and mobile are not being validated, then his status becomes on hold. Once the status becomes on hold, his GMAT and mutual accounts get frozen. Imagine your account gets frozen. And also remember, NRIs don't have this KYC done through Aadhaar. Many of them could not get Aadhaar. They were told, oh, you're an NRI, you're a non-resident, you cannot get your KYC because you cannot get your because you don't have your Aadhaar. So those people use their passport. Now what happens to their accounts? Their accounts are frozen, they cannot withdraw, they cannot invest, and they will have to do a KYC every time they do a transaction. So you can kiss your NRI SIPs goodbye unless the government acts very quickly and does something about it. And for no fault of theirs, for this draconian and inhuman, this seriously sounds draconian and inhuman, and senior citizens and cancer-stricken patients aren't able to withdraw their money when they need it. Why senior citizens? Anybody? You keep money in a liquid fund for emergencies. You can't keep it. You have not kept it in a bank deposit. Some very smart guy like Subramani told you that, oh, bank deposits are not good. Keep money in liquid fund. So you kept money in liquid fund, and today you are not able to withdraw money from a liquid fund. Subhash is talking about a cancer patient who is running from pillar post to withdraw 15 lakhs out of his 10 crores, right? It's not something small. So NRIs are obligated to have their Aadhaar, not obligated to have their Aadhaar card. So they sometimes they have been denied Aadhaar cards. So NRI investors also face this music of the KYC status, and if they wish to commit fresh money, they can't. Not being able to commit fresh money is not something which will ever bother anybody, right? Of course, it's a pain, but not being able to withdraw your own money because of some retrospective change sounds absolutely ridiculous, but it's a fact. So you have what are the problems? The inability to withdraw and redeem funds for emergencies if the KYC is on hold. If it is on hold, it has to be revalidated. Is it very difficult? No, it's not difficult, but for some people it may be very inconvenient. What happens if the person is bedridden? What happens if the person is traveling? What happens if the person cannot sign now? Earlier he could sign, and today if he is unable to sign or she is unable to sign, they are bedridden, they cannot sign. This happened to my neighbor. My neighbor is today perhaps not in a position to sign. So what happens to his money? Thank God I got them to remove almost all the money from mutual funds long back. So inability to invest in new funds is another problem. Inability to reinvest in new funds, creating new folios is another problem. Online validation of KYC, the process is just too cumbersome. I have tried it and I did not like it, so I went and updated my KYC. I did it offline. When I spoke to 2 mutual funds, they said, sir, the online process is not worth it. Please come and do it offline. So I have done it offline. forceful usage of Aadhaar as the only address proof seems to be, I don't know, some reason for pushing Aadhaar. I have seen no reason why it should be. Passport is a valid statement, or the government should go ahead and say change the PAN number. They just don't give people the PAN number, because your Aadhaar is everything. So then we can't have so many identification documents issued by the government and saying no, you cannot use this for that and that for this. I do not know when we will add more complications to KYC by saying, oh, you have to give blood group and fingerprint and all that for KYC separately, other than what is already been done for Aadhaar. Mandating use of mandating email ID and telephone number is fine, but once upon a time 10 years back, if you got my email ID wrong and I didn't bother, I'm now in trouble. I have to again do my KYC because you made a mistake. It actually happened with me. My PAN, there was a spelling mistake made by the department. I have no choice but to make a fresh PAN. So what will NRIs do? I don't really know. Ease of investing for investors is what we talk about, and this is what we do. What should be done? I think restore status. Say this whole process will have to be done over a long period of time. Say people have to come, give their PAN and their Aadhaar, and add their Aadhaar number to the existing folio. Many of us have done it. Many of us have linked PAN. All of us have linked a PAN and Aadhaar in the income tax. Believe me, SEBI and Income Tax Department both are under the Ministry of Finance. Why can't one ministry? Why can't one division of one ministry talk to the others and connect everything? Right? You have my PAN number. Go to the Income Tax Department, check whether my Aadhaar is linked, and take it from there. I authorize you to do it. Right? So that can be done. KRA agencies have to be told that this can be maybe do the whole thing over a 2-year period, not say, oh, from 1st of April 2024 this has to happen. It's not going to happen. It's going to be a big mess. Or exempt NRIs and say for NRIs this provision is not applicable, right? Facilitate seamlessly linking of Aadhaar and PAN like they did it in the income tax. Similarly do it for SEBI. I think they should just pick up from the database. I do not know. This is going to create a lot of pain. I hope more people watch this video and talk to the ministry and make some necessary changes. Thank you.